Am I the PLO goat?
Hit him with the jab, now I ain't gon' let her. Foot on they neck like I ain't gon' let her. Who want smoke? This that vibe, this that heat, this that vibe. Who want smoke? This that vibe. From the bottom to the top, now I ain't gon' let her. Just level it up now, I ain't gon' let her. Got a few racks now, I ain't gon' let her. Hit him with the jab now, I ain't gon' let her. Foot on they neck like I ain't gon' let her. Who want smoke? This that vibe, this that heat, this that vibe. Who want smoke? This that vibe. From the bottom to the top, now I ain't gon' let her. Got the whole game with me, that's trouble. Lions, tigers, bears, like we straight from the jungle. Running with the bag, no fumble. Try and take mine, let's rumble. These niggas sweet like cookies. All that talking then crumble. Tell 'em we the best like Cali Kendrick. Talk me to stay humble. This that work, this that grind, this that 05 Carter 2. Tell Alexa to play that money on my mind. This my time. Some of y'all ain't got no backbone. Weak. Better see a Cairo and check your spine. Never leave the house without the strap on. Just in case a nigga might lose they mind. Violate me, you gon' pay that fine. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Baby looking thick, that's juicy. I came a long way from the old me, and I ain't letting up, this is new me. Went from the block to a LLC. My only enemy is my enemy. Taking off with the crime, that's a robbery. They will never understand, they stay in the same place. They just shoot a running, man. I'm trying to turn 100 to 1,000 to 100 grand and do it over again.
Happy birthday, baby. Tia turns 26 today. We've been together since she was, well, she started pursuing me at 18, but she didn't catch me until 19. We like breakfast like Walt Jr. likes breakfast. La la. Atticus is eating astronaut food. Yummy! What do you think? Can you tell he's ready for the food? Ooh, that looks good. What's this?
Some kind of berry.
Hmm?
Some kind of berry or something.
Oh, like a berry spread?
Yeah.
I just made a real jackass move. I put cold syrup on top of the French toast. I know not to do that. That was a mistake. Now it's like delicious French toast. Now it's cold. What is that? Jalapenos?
Jalapeno bacon, cornbread waffle.
Damn.
With a Cajun maple syrup.
One beat maker with a shaker.
Just put it on the corner of your mouth.
Hold on. I gotta try and bluff me, I am all.
On my way to play 1-3 PLO at the Legion. Go Thanks, baby.
Let's get it in, I'm never afraid. I got a whole lot of chips. I got a whole lot of chips. Yeah, I got a whole lot of chips. I got a whole lot of chips. I got a whole lot of chips. I got a
Hello. Dude, up close, you actually kind of look like Atticus. What the fuck?
I got a whole lot of chips. Dragging a pie, that's a ship. Throwing my dealer these tips. I got more money to get. I just clocked in for my shift. And I bought it for the men. Damn, I just tripled my chips. Nah, I just doubled again.
Fireman Scott here. I will break down a couple of hands for you today. 1-3 PLO at the Legion. This is a really simple hand that I want to talk about, and that's the reason that I'm showing to you, is because I'm trying to show you how simple it is. This is a 1-3 PLO game. I have about 500 in front of me, and so does everybody else at the table. This is the beginning phase of a game. It's been raised to 31, and the guy who raised it to 31 has bought in for 300. That's what he always buys in for. And I flop bottom pair and the nut flush draw. The hand is over. Okay, at this point, I'm just never folding. It's a beginning phase of a game. I've got the nut flush draw, bottom pair. We're just gonna play it out, right? So the original raiser bets 125, which I call. Everybody else folds around, and the board pairs a king on the turn. And that's an ugly card for me because this guy has super tight pre-flop ranges. Very likely could have a full house there. And I've only got a pair of eights anyway. But when he moves all in, it's only for $100. So, like I said, on the flop, the hand's over. My money's going in there no matter what. Comes a deuce of club on the river, and I win the hand with a pair of eights. So Carl had ace, 9, 10, jack. And I end up winning the hand with a pair of eights. Although he had a really good hand, he didn't have the chips to effectively play his hand. And it's not totally his fault. I only had 500, so having 3,000 wouldn't have done him any good anyway. It's just that phase of the game. And I think what happens a lot of times is a lot of you get caught up in memorizing what's a good hand to play pre-flop and playing 1-3 PLO at less than 200 big blinds and getting pretty good at that part of the game and thinking that that's PLO. But I promise you, it's not. It's just warm-ups. This is the part of the game where you see like James Harden like throwing up, you know, shots behind his back and with his eyes closed and stuff. This is just warm-ups. During the warm-up phases of the game, you should be collecting information, right? You should be looking around and finding out who didn't sleep good last night, who's hungover, who's fighting with their wife, who's on tilt. So this next hand, I'm chomping at the bits because the first phase of the game when you're supposed to be collecting information, I noticed that Carl, getting a little tilted, bought in for 1,000 and he's way out of his element. You see, Carl always buys in for 300, as I said earlier. So now he's trying something different and I've got position on him with a double suited hand and I'm ready to go to battle.
Right. Make it 120.
Oh, shiznit.
There. Oh, you can't do it.
So like shark smelling blood in the water, I make the call against Carl thinking he's a little bit out of his element, hoping to get lucky and hope he makes a couple of mistakes. And so does David Shaw. He calls behind me with the button. I mentioned him before. He's a really good player. And all looking for a lucky flop, and bam, I get one. 10, 10, 6. Rainbow, I've got backdoor clubs, and Carl leads out and bets $100. I'm playing him pretty straightforward. I know he could have a 10. David Shaw raises it to 350. Carl makes the fold, and it comes back around to me, and I make the call. I think that David could have sixes full, but very likely has a 10. It comes a queen of clubs on the turn, giving me a club draw. I check it, fully expecting him to bet and me to call, but he checks behind. Now, this could mean that he was bluffing on the flop, but with Carl leading out and me calling, I'm very strongly suited towards a 10 on the flop. So for him to try to bluff here would be really highly unlikely. And so when he checks the queen, to me it's more likely that he's made 10s full of queens and he's just getting the money in no matter what, hoping that I'll get it in. Anyways, it comes a 5 of diamonds on the river and I check it. So there's $1,140 in the pot. I have about $500 left. David Shaw moves me all in. What would you do? Let me know in the comments section. Please click subscribe if you like the channel. Thank you.
I ain't gon' let her hit him with the jab now. I ain't gon' let her